Hey, what's up, everybody? It's BDF44 coming at you with another video. Just saw highlights of the Laker game. I've been away from stuff for the last couple of days. I had to handle some stuff in my personal life, but all of that straightened out. I'm back at work again, feeling good, and just want to talk about Lakers once again. Get away from all that other stuff. So, first of all, I want to say happy birthday to Alex Caruso, and give also a big shout out to Damian Jones, who's the newest Laker. He's on a 10-day contract, and he did a good job today. We were really excited about what we saw. I wasn't familiar with Damian Jones, but for just a name. He plays for teams that I never watched at all, Atlanta and Phoenix, and didn't get a lot of playing time there, but I did get a chance to see some of his highlights. And he is the exact type of center that I said that is a luxury to have. I made a video last week at some point where I was talking about how the Lakers, even though they weren't a good team at the time, we had a bunch of athletic bigs at one time. Like all three of the bigs in our rotation could jump out the gym, stretch the floor, and how much I enjoyed that, and how much we missed that now that we've been dealing with Marc Gasol, who doesn't jump at all, and Trez, who's a bit undersized. So of course, the best GM in all of basketball, Rob Pelinka, went out and find a guy who doesn't get any playing time but is still a super young player who happens to be a specialist at rim protection and can jump out the gym, electrifying, super athletic, and very, very tall to go with it. When you got a guy like that, looks like a baby poor man's DeAndre Jordan, with upside, yeah, you definitely want to give him an opportunity, especially with us being so undersized and athletic, lacking in athleticism is what I'm trying to say. So getting him down there was a big deal. He didn't get a chance to play in the last game, which I thought kind of sucked, because he's on a 10-day contract, and you need to be able to see what a guy can do so that he can earn his next 10-day or maybe even get a contract for the rest of the season. But given the fact that we have a need, given the fact that he doesn't cost anything, and given the fact that he had a good start to his Laker tenure today, I would like to see the Lakers extend him for at least another 10-day, see how he does over the next several games. And if this continues, definitely keep this guy. I personally don't even have to really look anymore. I already want to keep this guy for the rest of the season. That's me. But I understand that the Lakers have a lot of things, real basketball minds, real basketball people know what they're looking for, and I'm going to trust that they will assess what they see from the kid. I don't know his game, honestly, but I know what he can do. He can jump, he can dunk, he can block shots, and that's really all I want from him right now. I don't need him to be a stretch four. You don't have to be James Wiseman. You don't have to be Karl Towns. Just give me some of that DeAndre Jordan energy, some of that Dwight Howard energy. If you can do that, I'm happy. And that's what I saw from him. So I'm very, very excited about that young player. Just another big to throw in our lineup. And it was good because we played the Golden State Warriors, and they laid an egg today. So with them laying an egg, it gave our young guys a chance to get some playing time. We saw Costas Antetokounmpo get a real nice jam at the end of a putback dunk with like 2 minutes to go in the game. And I'm telling you, I think this is one of those situations with Costas where we really don't know what we have. And it's a dangerous thing when you got players who are young, are not super talented off the rip, and you get into a rhythm of playing them like 5 minutes, 10 minutes a game. They just get the reputation of being role players without actually getting the chance to show you that they're better than that. And I just think there's a bunch of players in this league like that. Damian Jones probably is one of those guys, and I think Costas Antetokounmpo is one of those guys. They just need to be given an opportunity to play, and then they need to be given a rope that's long enough for them to make the type of mistakes and whatever they're going to make so that they can grow into the player you want them to be and ultimately really be a role player on your squad, or even better. So we haven't been blowing people out like we'd like to. Obviously, we've been down AD and Schroeder, so it wasn't giving us a whole lot of opportunities to play meaningful garbage time in a winning situation. But tonight's game gave us that. And, we got what I was hoping to see, which is a lot of playing time for guys that don't get playing time, guys that have been spending time in the G League. Those are the guys I want to see out there. And to be honest with you, I want to see them play big minutes. While AD's down, Um, I just personally want to see those guys get opportunities and maybe give them meaningful basketball time, not just garbage time, but actually give them chances to see what they can do. We did not get a preseason, right? We did not get a training camp. So guys like THT and the guys already mentioned, this any opportunity they get to play is that for them. And I just want to see our young players, everybody's young players all over the league, get an opportunity to at least show what they can do. And if they turn out to be trash, then we pull them in those categories of players who just don't have the upside, just can't get right, just aren't gonna, pan out. But I hate seeing guys get the reputation of being role players and nobodies or what have you, just because they've been in certain situations for a little while now. They've been in the league for like 4 years. They've been in the back of a bench of a team that you don't pay no attention to, and you just get the reputation of them not being any good, which is just bogus. It's a fallacy. Guys need opportunities to develop. Then you can see what they become. So that's what I got to say about that. I'm just happy to see that we finally had a game where we can get those guys down there. Dennis Schroeder, welcome back. Lord knows we miss you. It's one of those situations where as soon as he's put back in the lineup, we look like ourselves again. It's amazing how that goes, because even though we're missing AD, I think the games that we lost not because AD wasn't there. It was because Dennis Schroeder and AD weren't there. If we had Dennis Schroeder, I don't think we even lose those games. And if we do lose those games, they're certainly not looking like that, with the exception of maybe the Utah game, because we ain't beating them right now, not without full strength. They're too good at this point. So, having him back down there, what you saw was a lot more cutting. Instead of having one guy cut to the basket, you got two guys cutting to the basket. So you saw a lot of that type of motion play on the floor today, and it really caught the Golden State Warriors by surprise, I think, to a degree. You saw a lot of good cutting, guys cutting to the basket, striking without the ball, pushing it without the basketball, and that's what Dennis Schroeder brings to the table. He can work with the ball and without it. He creates a lot of threats just by cutting hard, and when you have that coupled with LeBron James, who's going to also cut hard, you really give yourself a lot of opportunities for open shots, drive and kick opportunities, all different types of things open up for you. But when you don't have that, threat down there at the point guard position, and it's only LeBron James trying to facilitate, it's only LeBron James trying to cut, the rest of the guys on the floor are doing what they can, but they're not fast enough, they don't have the foot speed to be a real threat in the league, yeah, you're going to lose games, especially since we didn't have any inside presence. We didn't have any real penetrating presence, and we didn't have any real inside presence scoring and defending. So, yeah, once you bring that penetrating presence back, LeBron James, you give him something to work with. And I tell you, man, Dennis Schroeder has done nothing but impress me since he came into this league. When he was with Atlanta, he was really, really good playing for a bad team. He got up out of there, went to OKC in a situation where he was a three-headed monster with point guards. Didn't look like he was going to get a whole lot of playing time. Bad team situation. Chris Paul ahead of him. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander ahead of him. And he still managed to shine bright in those circumstances. Now with the Lakers, he's shining with us too. This is just a fantastic player who is not of the all-star caliber level, but can keep up with all-star caliber players. It's really that simple. He's one of those guys. And since he's still very young, I think his best days are ahead of him. And I wouldn't be surprised if he has another level to jump, especially after playing with a guy like LeBron James. It's going to make him better. So, Dennis Schroeder, I would love for you to stay, man. I have nothing but good things to say about you. I want you to be a Laker for as long as you want to be here, bro. And, if he does decide to leave, I'm pretty sure someone will give him a big bag. I know he'll be happy. He's going to fit in wherever he goes, but I think he's found a home here if he wants one. Laker Nation is very happy with you. So I wanted to put that out there. Yeah, man, this is good to see guys starting to get it. As I said in another video, when you lose a big piece like Anthony Davis, usually them first couple games, the adjustment period is going to be difficult. You're going to find yourself trying to come up with ways to score, find up ways to defend on the fly. You're just trying to come up with stuff that'll work for you rather than running stuff that you're comfortable running. But over a couple games, when you get used to that big piece not being there, you figure out what works for you, a couple practices, couple games, situations, and you start to be able to work with what you have. You reinvent your expectations for what it is your basketball club is, etc. So I think that's what we're starting to see with the Lakers as well. We had them first couple games, no Schroeder, whole lot of blah. Schroeder comes back. Now we're used to not having AD. We go pick up the Damian James piece, and suddenly we look like a real team. So we'll see how we look again in the next game. I think we play, I don't want to assume. I thought I saw the word Mavericks down there somewhere. I think we may play them next, but if we don't, we got a game coming up soon. Hopefully we can continue that momentum. And, just be patient while AD, gets healthy. And I'm cool. As far as being a Laker fan, yeah, we've lost some games recently. But nothing has surprised me at all. Nothing at all has surprised me. I think the games we lost were games I expected to lose if Schroeder and AD wouldn't play. We played some really good teams. And that's another thing. I think that can work in our favor to a degree. I mean, most of these teams are just going to throw those games away because they know we didn't have our guys. But the good thing is they didn't have a good look at us. A team like Miami didn't get a good look at us. A team like the Nets didn't get a good look at us. Utah, nah. You see, so when they see us in the playoffs, they don't really have that game to go back and look at film and say, yo, we can see what they're running. Because, they're going to have to adjust to what it is that we actually are as opposed to what they were playing against. And that can prove to be valuable when you're talking about scheming against teams in a playoff series or a final series or what have you. And I do believe the Lakers are still a championship caliber team. I have gone on the record saying that I think we're a little worse than we expected to be. But I still think there are levels for this team to get to in terms of getting used to playing with one another. We're still new to one another. We're barely halfway through the season. So it's a whole lot of basketball left to play and a whole lot more gears to reach in terms of chemistry and cohesiveness. And if I know anything about LeBron James teams, the whole regular season is a journey to get him and the team acclimated to one another. By the time the playoffs come around, the team and he are on a string, no matter who's on the team. It could be myself and a bunch of my homies. If we play with LeBron James for 82 games, by the time the playoffs come around, he's going to know what all of us can do, and he's going to be able to drag us where we're going. He's done it his whole career, and that's exactly how he approaches each and every season as far as I can tell. He uses the regular season as a preparation tool for the real thing, which is the playoffs, as most great players do, but a facilitator especially. That's his MO, And so you're going to have certain situations where he turns the ball over trying to do certain things. You're going to have situations where he's passing the rock at the end of games where he would otherwise shoot it and all of that. But that's really just him molding the team to be exactly what he needs it to be so that he can drag them to wherever they're going again. So because I understand that about LeBron James, I just expect the team to continue to play better and better and better as the season progresses. It's just who he is. It's just what he does. I saw some stuff out there. Something Trez is trying to pick it up a little bit in terms of his numbers. It's starting to reflect AD's absence. I really thought he would take off and be dropping like 28, 30 every night without AD, and it just hasn't been that way. But I think he's given us what we've needed from him. But I just want him to take it to the next level. I know playing on this team is a bit different because we don't have as much shooting as he used to have with the Clippers. He kind of opened things up. They didn't have a center at all with the exception of Zubac. So it was nobody to share rebounds with. Now he's playing with more. Obviously, he's playing with real bigs. He's playing, even though we are lacking in size, you know what I'm talking about. LeBron James and Anthony Davis are going to take away from him. So that's what we're seeing a lot of. Clippers didn't have any size. It was him or bust down there last year. So I can see where his numbers are down. He's not going to win Sixth Man of the Year this year. But I would like to see him pick it up over the next several weeks while AD's out. That's who I'm looking to do it. And it's not like he's disappointing. It's just, raise your level of play. I think that's what I would tell him. Just give me more of the same. Give me more. Be more aggressive even than you are because you're capable. You were a borderline all-star player last year. I don't see why you can't carry some of that load that AD's missing. I don't see why you wouldn't be able to. I'm glad THT is starting to get some minutes, some regular rotation minutes. He's still doing those things that I love to see him do. He's not quite the defender that I pictured him being this early, but he's still headed there. He has great defensive intangibles. It's going to take time for him to grow into the player he's going to be. He's still a kid. He's only, 20, 21? So we're very happy with his production, and thank God Vogel's finally getting some minutes for him, consistent minutes. I hope that continues. Yeah, man. So that's pretty much what I got to say. Like, as usual, I didn't watch the full game, but I did take away what I took away from these highlights, and thank you guys for watching me recap those. Beat the heck out of the Warriors, man. That's what it really came down to. I mean, the game itself was an afterthought to all this stuff that I've been talking about, because really we just ran into a Warriors team that wasn't prepared to play today. I would love to say that we did all kinds of great stuff, but they just had an off night. They had a really off night. Defensively, they were awful, and offensively, Steph had it going a little bit. Oubre had a couple good things go on, but the majority of what I saw in the highlights just was a team that wasn't prepared for us. So we caught them napping, and we clocked them one. Pretty happy about that. My name is BDF44. Thank you guys for watching.